Hello friends, welcome back to Mudstar. In today's scenario, we are going to discuss very important use case where we are switching from old SSO external ID provider to new SSO IdP provider. So let's take the example on my screen. So let's say I have configured Azure Active Directory before migrating to the Okta. Okay. So one this migration, if you plan, there will be a lot of things comes to your mind, or the questions asked to you. Maybe your client asked to you, or the your organization ask few questions to you. Okay, so those questions could be how to prevent duplicate users being created. So whenever you integrate new SSO, external identity provider, and then when you start logging in from that SSO, what happens? New users will be created, new duplicate users will be created in your Anypoint platform, even if you have same username, even if you have same email address in the new SSO also. Okay, how that happens in next slide I'll explain. Okay, how we can prevent that. Okay, then next questions could be like, what happens if you disable that in provider and start logging in with your platform credentials, whether new users, in that case also new users will be created. What are the guidelines to follow when we are planning to migrate our old SSO tool to new SSO external identity provider. Okay, so let's discuss these questions, and I'll talk about the how we can prevent this duplicate users being created, and then I'll talk about the guidelines. Okay, so let's jump on to the next slide. So how this duplicate users got created? Okay, so you can see that on my screen, I have configured two SAML based identity providers. One is Okta, one is Azure AD. And you can see that I logged in via Okta. So I got this user. Okay, so you can see there, same username, same email address, but still I could see there are two users created in my Anypoint platform. How we can avoid this? So first we need to understand, okay, how this user is getting created. Okay, so let's see. So either, let's say when you're migrating from IdP A, let's say for example A to B, while changing, from A to B, your IdP looks for the combination of, let me jump on to the next slide. Combination of issuer address, audience URL. So issuer URL and audience URL. When you configure your IdP, right? These two things very important. We need to configure there. If you don't know how to configure the IdPs, please go through. I'll encourage you to please go through my previous sessions on this same topic. Okay, you'll get the idea. What is issuer URL I'm talking about? What is audience URL I'm talking about? Okay. So with these three combinations, issuer URL, audience URL, and username. Okay, with these three things, your user will be identified in any IdP. Okay, so let's say existing user was there with, let's say, first name dot last name example.com. Okay, and their email address. So that is the username and email address. And then issuer ID was there, Okta. Let's say a blah blah blah. Okay, and audience URL this one. Now what happens? You are moving to new IdP. Now the issuer address will get changed. Your audience URL will be same. Your user name will be same. Email address will be same. But since the issuer address, because the combination got changed, you'll get new user when you log in with a new IdP. Okay, so that is called duplicate user. How you can prevent this? Let's. So one trick is here. First, you check with your SSO IdP. Okay, whether this combination issuer or plus audience plus username can be reused. Okay, if it is not used, then there is no option. Okay, if it can be used, then we can prevent creating these duplicate users. How? We can pass the same combination issuer and audience in new IdP also. Okay, so that will avoid creating your duplicate address. Give a try and let me know your feedback in the comment section below. Okay, now let's talk about the guidelines. What guidelines you should follow when you're migrating from one IdP to a new IdP. So first, very important step, you should have one non-SSO user in your master organization. Okay, that will take care of, whenever anything goes wrong with your external IdP, this user will take care of your platform. So have the organization admin access to that guy and keep that user in your master organization. Cross check whether the new IdP is supporting, your platform before migrating. Okay. Then very important thing is whenever you are making any change to your IdP configuration, or if you're completely migrating to a new IdP, do these changes or do this testing in a trial account, or do these changes in the non-production environment before migrating to the production. Okay, and always take the backup of your configuration, keep document kind of thing before and after changes, keep those configuration changes. Okay, and for SAML based IdP, right, I already discussed in the previous slide that if you check if this issuer plus audience plus username combination can be reused, okay, before migrating. Okay, consider the guidelines. Use Teams mapping. Okay, when you logged in via IdP, you'll get the user with 0 permissions. So if you go and manually give permission to that federated user, it will be very hectic job. Okay, and in previous slide I talked about how we can avoid those duplicate users. So if that duplicate users, if you avoid it, right, if you prevent that, so your previous user, whatever permissions were there for that users, so it will still works for with this new IdP. Okay, so better to use Teams mapping instead of granting roles and permissions to the federated user individually. Better option is go to Teams and first give all the permissions to team and add this user to the that Teams respective team. Okay, you cannot pre-provision the users, so the users will be created when they logged in from the new IdP. Okay, and if this new user, if this is the new user, then definitely you need to configure the permissions again for this guy. So you need to add the that user to the specific team, and then that user be able to access your platform properly. Okay, so these are the guidelines. This is the way you can prevent the duplicate users being created in your platform. One more questions was there, like if you disable you disable your IdP and then start logging with the platform credentials, yes, the new user will be created in your platform. Okay, so please avoid that. Please log in via IdPs so that you can keep the management of your permissions governance in a centralized one place. Okay, so that's all from this session. Hope you liked it. Okay, let me know your feedback in comment section. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the bell icon so that we'll get notification to new sessions. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.